Hello, and welcome to this week's casual review. I am Fred. This is my YouTube channel where I just ramble about the games that I finished. If you are new here, welcome. Glad that you discovered this pokey little bit of nonsense that I do. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So, in January of 2024, we've wrapped up Catherine Full Body. We played the PlayStation 4 version of the game. However, it was not my first time playing Catherine. No, I played the Xbox 360 version of the game in 2023 after watching a video by Gerard the Completionist regarding his playthrough of Catherine Full Body. So kind of a weird thing that we got to talk about Gerard, but that's where I. But again, I gotta give credit to the Completionist YouTube channel because that is where I became aware of this particular game. And what it is essentially a puzzle platformer of sorts because you are, working your way up numerous towers, which is a great little mechanic. And thankfully, with adjustable difficulty, you got your easy, your medium, normal, and hard. And I think there's even a harder difficulty on top of that. But I always look at things from a casual point of view, so take that for what it's worth. But the puzzles are rather intriguing, and I am someone who like to take my time with puzzles, but with Catherine, you can't take your time at all. You are literally rushing, and it's very, very easy to make mistakes. And thankfully, there is an undo system where you can undo a set amount of mistakes to try and find the best way up the numerous towers. One of the big highlights is numerous bosses that you have to run away from when you complete the specific floors, like a giant baby, the bride, uh, the the jealous girlfriend, the shadow version of Vincent. Um, so there, um, there is a lot there. There's a lot of creative imagery. So yeah, in terms of gameplay, very, very, very straightforward. The actual story of Catherine is kind of is we want to say typical for Atlas related games, particularly if you for those who've played Persona 3, Persona 5. Um, there is you have a godlike being who is imposing their will on humanity to get certain things accomplished. In this case, pushing indecisive young men into marrying and helping propagate the species. And Vincent kind of gets caught up on that when having some rather, shall we say, major moments in his life, being decisions being made for him by his original girlfriend Catherine with a K. And then he has a one night stand with Catherine with a C, who is a succubus. And in the full body version, there's another Catherine. There's Catherine with a Q, who is affectionately known as Rin, who is an amnesiac and whose story kind of gets wedged in there. Doesn't really connect too much with the other two Catherines and their overall plot. Unless you make the right choices to pursue the Rin ending of the game. So you have a bunch of individual endings. You got bad endings for each cat for each of each of the women that Vincent could hook up with. You got good endings, then you got true endings, and then you have endings where Vincent is chooses to be single and just doing things his own way. So so there is a lot of replay value here. And so that kind of leads to something I would normally talk about at the very end in terms of would I play this game again? Well, technically, I've already played it twice. I'd played two different versions of it. But specifically, would I play the Catherine Full Body again as opposed to the original version of Catherine? And actually, I would play both. Because again, there are achievements or different endings. So like I'm someone who does most of my gaming on Xbox consoles, and I like getting the achievement score. So I will go back at some point to the original version of Catherine to try and get achievements that I did not get in that game. And in Catherine Full Body, I'll go after the PlayStation trophies that I did not get in my first playthrough of it. Um, Now there are some story elements where your choices do matter in terms of who do you help along the way, trying to make sure like all the secondary characters are kept alive. Um, and so what you say to the NPCs on in between the individual levels when you reach the landing zone matters. Choices you make in the confessionals matter because that helps you lead towards your ending. So you want to make sure you're you're picking the right choices uh, in, in in that regard. So there is certainly a lot of variables there. That again, a lot of that would affect your endings and what you see towards the end of the game. There's actually a fair amount of missable trophies in Catherine Full Body. Um, one of which is several of which are tied to drinks. Um, uh, when you're at the bar, you want to make sure that Vincent is properly liquored up, so this way he moves faster in on the individual stages. But there are achievements and trophies assigned to consuming the various different types of drinks. So there's like hearing all the trivia for cocktails, beer, sake, and wine. It is like a major thing. So even if you have like Vincent totally liquored up, you want to make sure you're drinking. Make sure you're getting all. He's downing at least one of every drink completely. Uh, every chance you get. So there is also a lot of humor. There's also one of the big things that's kind of cool about Catherine Full Body is the amount of animated cutscenes. Um, that they're really at. That really kind of shows like the uniqueness of how the characters will look in a 2D sense. Although the 3D character models look exceptional as well. So there's kind of the debate is like they have gone this fully should have Atlas gone fully committed to the 3D models in terms of all the individual cutscenes, but they like putting in the anime cutscenes as well to really convey certain emotions and story elements. That is something became very familiar with the numerous games I've played related to the Persona franchise over the past couple of years, with the exception of Persona 3 Portable, which had no anime s cutscenes. but well, of course, everybody knows you get there's Persona 3 Reloaded now, so so I will probably be playing Persona 3 Portable again before I get to Persona 3 Reloaded, but we're getting sidetracked there. The music in Catherine Full Body, as well as the original, is kind of repetitive. You don't really get much variance on the tracks when you're going up the individual towers, which is rather unfortunate. Um, because in the Straight Sheep Bar, the jukebox, you have a hell of a lot of good music. Particularly in Full Body, which actually has not only the soundtrack from the original Catherine, you get the music that's unlockable. I believe it's unlockable from Catherine from the Full Body version, And then you also have music from like Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 4 uh Dancing All Night. I think they have a couple of tracks. Persona Q, Shin Megami Tensei 3, I think is some represent has some representation of tracks on there in the jukebox. And not to mention you have like there's also a mini game Rapunzel, which still has the same basic mechanics that you can use that for practice on of the individuals, not the of the individual stages, but just to get yourself uh locked in with the mechanics of the game if you want to give yourself that extra challenge. There's also other game modes, competitive, head to head, and other things you can do in it. So there is a lot. There's a lot in Catherine Full Body, as well as the original version of Catherine, where you can go back to beyond just the main story. But again, there is a lot of replay value there, so you will get your money's worth. Now, as far as the full body edition go, I believe it's also in addition to PlayStation 4, I believe it's also available on Nintendo Switch. Um, so it is a shame that it did not see an Xbox related release, but that kind of is what it is there. That's same, but it gave me an excuse to play it. As far as since on Friday nights, I kind of dedicate the Friday nights to being the PlayStation 4 night. Anyway, that would do it for this week's rant on the game that I've played and finished. So thank you very much. If you've played Catherine Full Body, leave your comments in the obviously in the comments section. I would say like and subscribe, but who actually does that? Let's be honest. Nobody actually does that. Tighten your friendship bracelet. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.